That's correct, Wendy. We all wear masks, metaphorically speaking. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the long awaited next installment of my ongoing series, Propped Up, where this week it is party time. PARTY. Why? Because I gotta. Yes, we have The Mask from The Mask. One of the best 90s movies ever. And, like, I feel like in the same way that 80s movies had a flavor and 90s movies do have their own flavor. They're a lot more in your face. They're a lot more anti-authoritarian. You don't get it, mom and dad. Sorry. Um, and The Mask might be the pinnacle of that because it is about this loser who gets magic powers and embraces his chaotic side and becomes the hero who saves the day from the forces of evil. And of course, we all have to say it. It's based on an incredibly graphic, violent comic that is more about murder than the movie is. And you can kind of tell that that's where they were originally going to go when they got the guy who directed Nightmare on Elm Street 3 to direct it. And you can kind of see, like, the mask has, like, the Jim Carrey mask has some of those more, like, almost Freddy Krueger-y, funny bits. Although he doesn't do anything as egregious as Krueger, doing, oh, the power glove, or you forgot the power glove. Great graphics. Now I'm playing with power. I can't do Robert Englund. I don't even think Robert Englund can do Robert Englund anymore. I, that's a joke. I don't actually mean anything by it. I haven't seen any of his recent work. Um, I guess that's not technically true. He played Scarecrow in Injustice 2, which great casting, but I don't know. I wish they'd kept his design from Arkham Asylum because in Injustice 1 they actually use his Arkham Asylum design in a an environmental not fatality, but something like that, where if you like grapple someone and throw them off screen in Arkham Asylum, they wind up in Crane's cell and get gassed and get smacked by his giant needle hand. Anyway, we're talking about this. Um, the Mask is one of probably it may be Jim Carrey's most famous role. Like Ace Ventura is kind of aged like milk. Dumb and Dumber, Liar Liar is good, but The Mask is the performance everyone knows now. Like, more than The Grinch, more than Count Olaf, more than even Dr. Eggman. Eggman. Robotnik. Although he does actually do a pretty good job of that, too, from what I hear. Where are my manners? He's got some sketchy opinions about vaccines, but he is still a fantastic comic with great Rubberface. And that is such a lost art, is the art of Rubberface. Speaking of, though, you might notice that this is not made of wood. It's actually made of a polymer. I don't know. I don't know if it was 3D. It was either 3D printed or molded. But I believe it was made using scans of the mask prop in the film, and you can see it's very, I think it's very good. It's very accurate, and I don't mind it not being made of wood. Authenticity is not as important as screen accuracy to me. A wooden prop would be a lot more expensive and be a lot easier to mess up. It's got every single grain of detail perfectly modeled. Um, the paint job is a little weird. I got this off Etsy, obviously. The I actually do like the kind of like greenish brown that they chose for the wood, but this green for the nose piece that I believe was like a brass color in the film is just a little weird. I may try to go in with my own because I do have some like metallic paints that I could go over this with. Uh, and man, it feels good to hold. You know what I mean? The only problem is it doesn't fit. I'm like Walter from the comics where it's just gonna fall off. Oh, for those who don't know, Walter is this mute juggernaut who is the only person who can match wits, I suppose you could say, with the mask, or Big Head as he's called in the comics. They're called in the comics. Several people take on the role of Big Head, including a woman and a little girl. Um, but no, the mask is like it's perfect because it's a live action cartoon. It's a live action Tex Avery cartoon, and it plays with your expectations too. Um, you have that girl next door character in The Reporter but she turns out to be evil. And then you have the femme fatale played by Cameron Diaz in one of her first performances, and she's actually the good guy, and that's interesting. That and because we it says a lot about the characters. It says a lot about almost the maturity even because Cameron Diaz's character is implied to be a temptress, almost a sex worker type. She's the arm candy to the villain, but she's trying to be, she's trying to get out of it. She doesn't want to be trapped with this psychopathic egomaniac. And then the Peggy Brant is she's the one who turns Ipkiss in. Which, by the way, neither of those two characters are in the comic. Stanley Ipkiss is a whiny nerd with a way too hot for him girlfriend. He gets the mask on Halloween night, similar actually to Jamie Kennedy in Son of the Mask. And he goes on a rampage until his girlfriend kills him, and then she becomes the mask. And then Lieutenant Kellaway becomes the mask. That's right, the guy from Animal House in the film, he's the mask. And then a bunch of other people take the role over the years. In the comics, it's never said that Loki is the inspiration for the mask. In fact, in the comics, the mask doesn't look like this. It looks like... I almost want to say it looks like mosaic art because it's a bunch of like small pieces connecting together. And then what it does is like the pieces start enveloping your head, and that's when you become Big Head. But anyway, what else is there to say? I don't know. I had something. And then, of course, you have the animated series, which is much more akin to the Ninja Turtle cartoon, which I guess is apropos, considering that the Ninja Turtle comic is actually really violent, too. Of course, we've all heard that tidbit. Shredder dies in the first issue of the Ninja Turtle comic. Of course, I prefer the IDW run, which introduces Jennika, ex-foot soldier turned turtle girl, who dates a goth rocker pig lady. Like, that's just fun. That's just fun writing. Anyway. And then, of course, like, several people do take on the mask role in the film, too. Obviously, you have Ipkiss, you have Dorian, and you have Milo, the dog. But I think it would be interesting if Loki were involved in the lore of the mask in the comics. Sorry, I'm circling back around to the point I was making earlier. Which it would be interesting to see, like, if maybe Walter had a relationship with the mask then. Like, this is just dumb fan fiction stuff, but, like, what if this is, like, Loki's severed face? And Walter is actually Odin or Balder, who's been, like, cursed to wander the earth until Loki's finally destroyed once and for all, and that's why he constantly pursues the mask. But no, also the comic or the cartoon, but like circling back again to the cartoon, Peggy Brandt is actually his April O'Neil in that show. You know, she's a good guy again, which she was more chaotic neutral, I guess, in the movie. You know, she says she likes Ipkiss fine. She needs the money. You know how hard it is to get in a condo in this city. Like, oh, that's she actually plays the villains in both Problem Child 1 and 2 as well. So, like, she plays John Ritter's wife in Problem Child 1, who's this, like, screeching harpy, which, well, I'm sorry. You're probably a really nice actress, but you know what you were playing. And then she goes on to play Rwanda, or Lawanda? Something like that. I think it's Lawanda in Problem Child 2, who's this Southern Belle girl with just a very cold demeanor who lusts after John Ritter, who is a Sigma male of her dreams. Which, yes, John Ritter is the perfect human. That is why they took him back, because humanity was not ready for such perfection as John Ritter. I was actually just talking the other day with someone on Twitter about how good John Ritter was in, I believe it was Stay Tuned. He plays a couch potato who sells his soul for cable. And it's as ridiculous as it sounds. There's like a whole Chuck Jones animated bit about mice chasing, about where he and his wife are turned into mice and are being chased by a robot cat. Sorry, I'm off topic, but so why do I love this prop? 12 minutes in, we're finally getting to that question. Well, first off, I actually do really love masks. I believe this is the first of my mask props that I've brought on, but I have a bunch. A couple of them might have to wait till Halloween to be reviewed, though. I also just like collecting cool-looking masks. You've all seen the devil mask over my shoulder in some of my other videos. I have an amazing purple monster mask from when I was a kid. And I've always been on the lookout for really cool masks. I also love tricksters. I love characters who are like funny and wisecracking and like ahead of everyone. Like I love Q, I love Genie, I love the Animaniacs. Well, I like the old Animaniacs. I like them when they were kids. The new Animaniacs are a little too, not adult, but like ironic. The old Animaniacs, they were just children. They were just children running around being manic and like they had a sugar high. And you could kind of tell it, especially from how Dr. Scratch and Sniff became their legal guardian in a sense. Anyway, and then what are some other tricksters I like? Sheogorath is another one. I like the character who is funny and can't be touched. They are an idiot goofball because they know they can be. Like, I wish I had that level of confidence. I wish I could slap this on and be like, yes, I am going to make the cringiest jokes you can imagine, but I'm also a deic being. I now possess a divine essence that you cannot take from me, you wretched little mortals. I mean, it's fun. Oh, another good one that's also like a 90s tune. Brent Spiner as Puck. Way better than Brent Spiner as the Joker. speaking of which, Gargoyles is literally just like is proof that Disney just loves casting its favorite TV actors as different characters, because that show has Mariana Sirtis, it has Jonathan Frakes, it has Brent Spiner. It's effing Star Trek Next Generation. But I guess the same can be said for, and like that continues onward. I don't know if I've said it here, but I've joked repeatedly that Emperor's New Groove is them casting a Disney movie with their favorite characters from Just Shoot Me and Roseanne. Anyway, but this is just a very nice piece. It speaks to me in a weird way. Cause like every time I see it, I feel giddy inside. Because this is what it looked like on the film, and this is what I always imagined it would feel like in my hands. It's like, even though it's plastic, it's got a nice heft to it. Plastic or whatever, vinyl, I don't know. Resin, maybe? It could be a resin pour. And, like, also, it's just... It's got such lovely contours to it. Like, whoever made this cared a lot about replicating it verbatim. Like, these cheekbones, this lip outline, the sinking in of the cheek right before this little lump that's on, it's part of the, like, jowl. And the brows, and just... You could have phoned this in so hard and people would have still bought it. And, like, this is the plainest part of the piece, but it looks exactly like it does in the film. It's supposed to look like a mask that's been carved on one side, but is kind of unadorned on the other. It's perfect. But, I mean, why should I keep it to myself? I do have a couple videos recorded, and and a couple videos planned. However, I'm going to be staggering those releases. So we're going to, so I'm going to, do those as, I'm going to release those steadily over the next couple week or so. And then, what else? Oh yeah, I already mentioned this in another video I already filmed, but I need to give a big shout out to Trucker Kyle for you. The dude sent me $200. I don't deserve it. Please, man, if you're watching this, shout out whatever video you want me to make in the comments. I will make it. I owe you that much. You bought me groceries for the next 2 weeks. Anyway, this is Royce Miller, reminding you to remember to take the mask off once in a while and just be yourself. But for now, why don't you take her for a spin?